When you need a mortgage, don't stress at all. Just tune right in and give these guys.
Good morning, YouTube. Today is Friday, November 14th. And fellas, get your hard hats on, get your military hats on. We're going to be talking about war here soon, but not the war we're used to. What is going on?
What's up, fellas?
What's happening?
Oh, it's a Friday. It's a good day. I'm pretty excited to talk more really about the real estate mortgage combo that we have when you get into a buyer buying a home that needs a mortgage, because we always hear back and forth, real estate mortgage, and we understand when you have buyer and seller and they're agreeing to things, it's between them. They're agreeing to it. But the second mortgage is elected, Anth, the rules change a little bit. You got to bring us into the ball game, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's forgotten a lot of the times, and then people wonder why things change after the fact of the contract being completed. There's only one person that does the mortgage, and that's a licensed loan officer who's actually lending the money. So it's in the best interest of all parties that are involved to include the loan officer when they're completing the agreement of sale, because financing is a huge part of that deal actually closing. So if nobody wants things to change after the agreement of sale, a lot of people should stop acting like they work for a finance company and also do the agreement of sale and actually bring everybody together and do a pre-offer huddle. And everybody's on the same page, numbers are on the same page, and it's a successful deal and there's no changes after the agreement's made.
Tommy, if we want 14-day, no contingency closings, all cash, buyers can pay all cash and not bring us into it. But unfortunately, most buyers don't have cash, so they need financing, aka a mortgage, and that's why we need that pre-offer huddle, because you can't just throw an offer in that's the same for every single buyer. Yeah,
I think something's lost in translation, and I'm not trying to act like I'm the end-all be-all, but if the buyer doesn't have the cash, they can't afford the house. So they need somebody else to help them afford the house, which is the bank. So we're both buying that house with them. They don't own that house outright until they pay off the mortgage. So ultimately the bank is in that with them in that purchase, because they are giving them the money for that house because the buyer did not have enough money on their own to pay cash.
And what we are seeing more and more is just the sales contract having mortgage parts blank. And that part drives us crazy, because we really feel like the best agents out there, the best agents are building their team and building that contract so strong. Listen, guys, all's fair in love and war. And when you're negotiating, you are at war. Stop pretending like you need to call the other side to ask a question. You're trying to beat the other side. It doesn't matter what the other side is offering until you get into negotiations. I feel like there wants to be a realtor to realtor huddle before an offer goes in, rather than the pre-offer huddle with the team, so we can beat the other side in that negotiation or get something packed. Hey, if you're a real estate agent and you know your sales contract better than the other agent, kudos to you. Kudos to you for winning that deal, for knowing that contract only because you knew the sales contract better than the other agent.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. I'm going to call the other agent, see if they got any other offers, see what's going on with it. And they're giving them an opening to then win the deal on the other side. I think, yes. If you're talking to us, we're figuring it out. Maybe you call them, see if they have any other offers, but I mean, that's as far deep as you go into it. You don't even have to ask if they have any offers. You ask if they have a highest and best time date or something. If they say no, then that means they have no other offers.
And Tom, Anth, if you're a listing agent, why are you telling anyone anything? If you have a buyer, bring an offer. It should not be that difficult. Bring the best offer that's best for your buyer. Now, here's the difference. What's best financially and what's best for the real estate offer. That's why we need the pre-offer huddle, because there could be a little negotiation with the buyer and the buyer's agent there on, hey, what do we offer for price? What do we ask for concessions? Everyone is different, but the buyer deserves to be part of that conversation.
Yeah, 100%. We need to let them know, and we need to have a conversation with everybody, just like you're saying.
Right. I mean, Anth, you're the king of options. When you give someone options and they understand you could do this or you could do that, it really helps out their mortgage process. They understand what's going on with their financing.
Yeah, I mean, not every client is going to be the same. I mean, the options are going to be very important, whether, we're, utilizing seller's assistance, buying down the rate, getting rid of PMI. There's so many things that a lender can do to make that offer stronger without asking the seller for everything if the buyer doesn't need it. The unfortunate part is it's all about, hey, we have to go in, above asking because it's the best way to make the offer the best. I mean, we work for the buyer. We're looking out for the buyer's best interest. We're not looking out for the seller's best interest. Okay. The offer is going to be the offer. The seller's going to take whatever they're going to take. So making it as clean as possible for the offer itself, but then financially, affordable to the client, is going to make that offer, stand out, and I know every one of us, hey, we could reach out to the listing agent as well to talk about the strengths, of the specific offer that we have with the buyer with limited detail, but there's many things that we can do to help that offer. The agents just have to include the people that are actually lending the money. It's simple.
Yeah, let's get into the contract real quick. And again, we're not real estate agents. We're just licensed loan officers in Pennsylvania, but we want to show you what we see on Pennsylvania sales contracts. And really, it starts right at the top here. This is new, this year with Section 3, 3A and 3B. I feel like Tom, Anthony, chime in. This is the
I'd say this is year 2, right? We're 15 months in. They should know this, but
okay,
year 2 of this already. It's happened in August of 24, but let's go over it because I still get questions on it and filled out incorrectly.
Yeah. So frankly, now I live in an ivory tower here, guys. If I'm a buyer's agent and I want to do what's best financially for my buyer, stop me if I'm wrong here. Tell me if I'm wrong. I would put the full buyer broker commission in Section A, and I would put the max seller assistance allowed by us at West Penn Financial in Section B. That's
a great starting point. A great starting point, especially if there's no other offers on the place.
Now, we get that may not be the quote unquote strongest offer for real estate, but starting for financing, that is going to save the client the most money right there because you're getting buyer broker commission paid for and max seller assistance.
Yeah. You know what that would be great for, Ryan? A pre-offer huddle.
That's it,
right there. If the client even needs seller's assistance, that might not even have to be on there.
Hey, Anth, here's a tricky one though. Pull that back up real quick. Okay, here's a tricky one. Maybe you don't want to put anything in Section 3B for seller assistance, but go down here to Section F. Here's where you can get a little tricky, right? Not tricky, but using the contract to your advantage. Paying seller assistance has to be counted as part, or paying transfer taxes has to be part of the seller assistance calculation in our estimation because it's not normal and customary to our area. But if you put in Section F here that you want the seller to pay the buyer side of the transfer tax, that's another form of seller assistance. You can't ask for 3B and Section F from the seller, but you potentially could ask for a portion of both in this case. But Section F is one of those items, guys, that I see that you could get past potentially a listing agent that doesn't know their contract that well.
I mean, that right there, Ryan, seems like a little zing pow. What we're looking for here today on a Friday morning.
That's just what we're trying to do, using this contract to win deals. Okay, so that's that section. Tom, Anth, jump in here. Tom, jump in here if you have anything, because I can't see you. Continuing on, number 8 for buyers financing. Okay, we see option 3 elected a lot of times, but option 1 gets elected, or I mean, not option 1, option 2 gets elected, and people think that there's going to be no mortgage, anything going on here. And you can see right there that it does not restrict the buyer's right to obtain a mortgage. They're just saying it's not contingent on getting a mortgage. Again, section 8, Anth, Tom, a section some agents we see struggle, and this is something that they could get confused on.
100%. This is new within this year, I believe. This section 8. So if the agents aren't going to the sales meetings every week and tuned into their managers, this could be something that is missed, especially on the listing side, because sometimes I see a listing agent just listing their family member's house or something and not being completely involved. So, I mean, these are opportunities. And again, yes, you want to be friendly and you want to be ethical, but
all's fair, Tommy.
Yeah, all's fair in love and war. You're fighting against the other side. This is business. Business is business. And I mean, this happens constantly on a daily basis in every industry.
Using the contract to win a deal, there's nothing wrong with that. That's you being a professional and knowing your sales contract. So we'll continue on to page 4, our last section we're going to go over. And it's the mortgage section, section H. And Anthony, I know this section drives you crazy because we see sometimes this whole section is left blank. And boy, oh boy, how are you covering your client the best if this section is left blank?
Yeah, I mean, this section is very important, not just for the buyer, but for the seller, because, they know, financing is in place, by a specific lender. And a lot of the times the, listing agent is actually looking at who that lender is. If it's a non-reputable company or out-of-state bank or something like that, that they may have had a, bad experience with in the past, there's a very good chance they're going to push that one to the side because they don't want to deal with those issues. The problem I have with it is when they have this on here, for example, West Penn Financial, and the buyer, they let the buyer know, hey, after your offer gets accepted, now you can start shopping. Well, that's not the case. You have 7 days to make formal application and get all your documents in place. But then they don't update the seller if the buyer switches lenders. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm reaching out to the seller and the listing agent to let them know that West Penn Financial is no longer doing this transaction, as we should. Because if things go south on this transaction, you as the buyer's agent never let the seller agent know that that financing changed, which could be an issue and could breach this contract, and the seller can walk away. But if it goes south, I'm certainly not going to be on the hook for a bad experience with a client that I never had that transaction. So if you're filling this out, make sure it's the lender that's being utilized, and or at least update the agreement of sale with the seller. Don't hide behind that page 4. So
right, Anth, that's, I mean, in our eyes, if you're changing the mortgage lender, that's just like putting conventional for the mortgage type, but then going to get an FHA mortgage and not telling the seller's agent. We believe that any change to the contract is a change to the contract. And also, one biggest misconception I see is right here, the LTV ratio. This buyer's putting 20% down, so the LTV is 80%. I hear real estate agents say all the time, oh, they're a great buyer because they're putting 20% down. Guys, please, 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 you have no idea a buyer's financial situation. This buyer may need to put 20% down just to qualify. They may not get an approval without 20% down. Their credit score may be too low to put anything else less than 20% down. So, but we see all the time that perception is a 20% down offer is better than a 5% down offer. You have no idea. You have no idea by just looking at those numbers, and that drives me crazy.
It's one of the funniest things to me that I see constantly is.
So I'm going to stop sharing if we can pull back up. And yeah, guys. Tom, go ahead.
Go ahead. I must be deleted. But yeah, I see it all the time. They are every single time they do that.
Yes. So please use your loan officer as a tool to help put the stronger offer. And let's not do misconceptions, or let's not just assume things, or we're going to put every offer in. It's not 2021. It's not 2022. Shake those cobwebs out. It is a new market. It is a fair market. It's an even market where buyers can get things, and we got to stop having real estate agents say, oh, I can't get that accepted. We got to try. We got to try, and we got to let buyers win, because we really believe we're seeing it out there. We see it on a daily basis that offers are getting accepted in manners that other agents are saying are not possible. So let's shift with the market. Let's keep it going. Let's use the contract to win some deals, and call us over the weekend if you need anything.
100%.
All right, boys. Long episode today. That's all I got.
Have a good Friday.
Later.
Sure, yes.
Tom, Ryan, and Anthony, oh, they